Here's what we think on everything but the zinc. Now we pass the mic to you to hear your point of view. So like, click subscribe, and post your comments now. Hey, like, click subscribe, and post your comments now.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to our channel. You're watching Pass the Mic with PST, where all things are reviewed. Check out the description below to find out what we're all about. I'm Paprika.
And I'm Twine. And I'm Cheryl. And today we're discussing the Will Smith slaps Chris Rock story.
This is a heavy topic, y'all. I did not expect this from Will Smith. In this photo, it looks like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was not jiggy with the joke Chris made about his wife. What do you guys think?
Well, I initially thought it was planned or something because of the smile that was on Will's face. I just didn't think it was real. What about you, Twine?
I didn't think it was real either, but that changed real quick. So when we sat back down, we all knew that wasn't no joke then. When he started the cussing, and we knew something was up. But the thing that really gets me is that Will was smiling over this whole thing from the beginning, and then soon after he took a look over there to Jada, the one who's normally starting problems in their relationship, this caused this man to go up there and act a plum nut. Now I love me some Will, and I still love me some Will, so y'all don't come at me, because I got the right to love who I want, but I don't love what he did. He's wrong. But I'm not going to rebuke the man, and I'm not going to just totally forget all the good he's done and cast him out because he made an error. He made an error, he apologized for it, and I'm going to give him that much. But go ahead.
I agree with you because initially you could clearly see that everyone around and on that shot was laughing at the joke that Chris made until Will Smith looked over and saw Jada roll her eye. I think that she egged him on to do what he did because clearly Will was okay with the joke. It was just a joke, a simple joke. So I think that Will allowed himself to be pressured by his wife to say something because she wasn't pleased with the joke. And I think that it was a bad choice on Will's part because this was his night to shine. He was up for an award. His category had not come up yet. So for him to have this type of behavior would then put a blemish on his win. It just took away from his win. And I'm with Twine. I still love me some Will Smith. I just think that he was under pressure from his wife. What do you think, Shell?
Yeah, you guys are on point with that one. And I did see that look Jada gave. She wasn't pleased with any of Rock's jokes. And it's clear that Will was prompted to take the action he took. And like you said, Paprika, his actions did blemish his win. And it also affected him in other areas as well. According to the New York Post, his plans of having a $10 million biopic aired on Netflix and Apple Plus appears to be in jeopardy. Both pulled out of the bidding war. Also, according to the Daily Beast, there was also plans for Bad Boys 4 to come out, but that's been shelved, along with another project Netflix had, Fast and Loose. Now, Twine mentioned his apology earlier, and I did see where the news had been updated on that story. It tells us how Will resigned from the Academy, and he actually made a statement stating that he accepts any additional consequences that the Academy Board of Governors considers to be appropriate for his actions. Do you all think he should have resigned from the Academy?
Well, I feel that it's his decision, what he wants to do. But it shows me what type of person Will really is. He's always been a good person. He's never showed signs of aggression. Even his mom came on and said that he's never showed signs of aggression. And I don't think there's too many people who can really say that he's showing signs of aggression, at least in the public's eyes. So, like I said, I don't think we should condemn a person for one error after they've done something that's wrong. Because anybody can make a mistake. Will Smith said himself, "It was a work in progress." To be honest with you, we're all a work in progress because nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to get it right all the time. There's nobody walking on the face of this earth that hasn't made a mistake in their life at some point. Whether it's been in front of the camera, in front of other people to see, or it's been behind the camera. So we can't judge him on that. But we can say that what he did was wrong because if you don't like what a person say, we don't have a right to put our hands on somebody else. We all know that, so we're not denying that fact at all. You can disagree with something somebody said. He could have just went after it's all over and asked and approached Chris, and said, look, I didn't like the way what you said about my wife or whatever, and they could have worked it out behind the scenes. But like I said, we're all human. He's a work in progress. We're all a work in progress. So he just made an error. He acted on emotion. He did a quick response.
And I think too that the punishment doesn't fit the crime. It was just a slap. Now, granted, I agree with what Twine said, that you never have a reason to justify putting your hands on somebody. But Will has been in the industry for a long time, and never has he had a spot on his record. And he's allowed to make a mistake. And I truly think that he was only acting on behalf of his wife. And you could clearly see in his acceptance speech that he was regretting his action because there was tears. He looked very sincere to me when he was giving his acceptance speech. And he probably was regretting the fact that he went up there on stage and did what he did. So I don't think that the punishment fits the crime, because for him to resign and from them to the academy to bring up additional charges or whatever they want to do, that's too much. It's too much. I mean, he clearly understood what he did. He clearly was trying to make good for what he did. He apologized to the academy. He apologized to his fellow nominees. And he eventually apologized to Chris Rock. So that's enough. That's enough to me.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think it was necessary for him to resign either, because it's the only incident of that nature where he's concerned. Yes, I believe there should be a consequence to his action. Maybe a short-time suspension from the academy, anywhere from 1 to 5 years maybe, but not expulsion, because I know there were some people talking about expulsion being on the table, and I think it's because they may want to make an example of him. But like you said, Paprika, they should be fair in doing so. And since he's not known for behaving in such a way, anything other than suspension would be unfair in my opinion. Also, I came across a Variety article. Now tell me if you think I'm just nitpicking, because you know I tend to do that. But the article says that Will charged the stage. But I think using the word charge is misleading. I think word choice is very important when you're dealing with a person's reputation and their livelihood. Them saying that he charged the stage implies that he rushed in a rage to attack. But he didn't do that. He walked on the stage in a relaxed and normal manner. And that's why so many people thought that it was staged, that it was something planned in the beginning. But what do you think about that? Is it appropriate to say that he charged the stage, or does it even matter?
I think the choice of words is bad too, because it's just like the same thing with YouTube. It's clickbait. They want to have the article stand out, so they use the word charge. And that word is too strong for what Will did. If you look at the clip, Will sauntered onto the stage. He did his normal little cool Will Smith walk onto the stage. There was no charging anyone.
Right, and I agree with both of you. It was no charging, of course. And like I agree with you with the clickbait, that's all it was. He walked up there and slapped him across the cheek. And as far as the smirk that he gave, I noticed that smirk too. And I noticed also that a lot of people have been saying that smirk is a narcissistic look. They're giving it saying that he's narcissistic. But to me, what that smirk looks like is, now here, I done did my part. I done proved to you I'm protecting my wife. And he walked away and said, hey, job done. I think that's what that was. Because he's been going through some things, even in this book. He mentioned some things in his book about what he's gone through and what's been happening in his life. So to me, that spoke a lot. His gesture, the way he walked, that smirk and everything, just shows that he was saying something to his wife. Look, I did my part. And that's all it was. So that could look narcissistic. But
Yeah, and going back to that word charging, I think that the use of it was to possibly make the academy feel okay with whatever harsh action that they decided to take against him so that they can feel warranted in doing so. But anyway, that same article also mentioned something about Will remaining after the incident. Let me tell you what the article says. It says, the Academy later said it asked Smith to leave the ceremony and he refused. However, sources tell Variety that the organization's leaders never formally requested he be ejected. And producer Will Packer urged him to stay, but during an appearance on GMA on Friday, Packer said that he only told Smith that he should stay at the request of Rock. But believe it or not, the article goes on to say that someone in Rock's camp denied ever saying that. So what do you think about that?
I think it's a lot of baloney for me. It's just a lot of baloney because I heard something about that too, and apparently the person that was talking about he should have been removed, they later said that that person doesn't speak for the academy. So in other words, the academy was saying they don't agree with what this person said, that Will should have left. If the academy actually wanted him to leave, remember that Will's category came up after the slap. And they also still presented him with the award and still allowed him back on the stage. So clearly, this article is erroneous. Allegedly, because if the Academy did not want him there, they would not have televised his acceptance speech. They would not have televised his category because we know the Academy is famous for giving awards off screen. So they didn't have to televise it because they also did not televise, or they quickly bleeded out when Will Smith was used that profanity against Chris Rock. So that just lets us know that, again, this article, or the person who said that, this is clearly for clickbait because that's not true, because the Academy itself would not have allowed Will to go on the stage afterwards.
Wow, Paprika, you took the words right out of my mouth, girl. You must have been reading my mind. That's my mind.
You know, we here.
Right here, I'm telling you. Because that's my thoughts exactly. You know, if they asked Will to get out, there's no way in the world that they would have even presented that or televised it. You know, they could have just totally dismissed that and not showed any of that at all. So, and then they also have the power. If you want somebody out, that's Oscars. If they want him out, they know how to have him escorted out of there. It's not leaving it up to him and say, look, we want you to leave. But I can't even see Will standing up saying, no, I'm not going to leave. It's just like once a person does something, then they want to try to make you out of a boogeyman.
Right.
So now Will's supposed to be this aggressive person now and say, no, I'm not going nowhere. No, this is not how it went. That don't even show off to be the type of person that Will Smith is. It was just clickbait. Again, like you said. So sometimes we have to read into more to what we see that's happening before we just take on the belief of a story that we hear.
Yeah, those are some good points, y'all. Now, that same Vanity Fair article stated that Will attended the Vanity Fair party that followed the award show. And it states that his attendance there did not sit well with some of the board members of the Academy. But I think he would have been criticized either way. If he didn't show up, some may have commented that he wasn't appreciative of the award that he received. What do you guys think about this? Should this be an issue?
Well, yeah, I just think that they're just trying to make more out of this. I mean, granted, like Klein said that it was no justification for what Will did, but it's still too much. It does not fit the crime that took place. Because to say that the Academy didn't want him at the after party, or the other people didn't want him there, the Academy is a very powerful group. And if they don't want something to take place, it is not going to take place. So, and to say that Will just rushed in and did what he wanted to do, then that means you're giving Will more power than what he actually has. And I agree with Ryan. I do not think that Will Smith is that type of person. He looks like a happy-go-lucky, I'm cool, let's go with the flow. He's always jovial. He's very infectious with his personality. I just think this was a simple misjudge of his choice to go ahead and do something that goes against his nature, because he simply was trying to please Jada. And like Twine said, when he walked off the stage, you could imagine what that conversation was. He was like, okay, you're happy now? You wanted me to do something about the joke. There you go.
Yeah, I agree. If they put too much on it, they're trying to charge him for too much more. Like it says, there's an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. You take a life, you give a life. You know what I mean? Will Smith did a slap, an open hand slap, mind you. As degrading as that was, and unacceptable as that is he didn't murder anybody. So let's not put him in the jail. Let's not put him underneath the jail. I mean, because it doesn't require that. And I know I've seen an interview somewhere where it did say that he should be jailed for it. You know, and it's crazy. Why should he be put in jail for something that was just a minor slap? I mean, and then someone else have the audacity to say that I don't accept his apology. You know, first of all, he made an apology to who he made the apology to. The incident was toward Chris Rock. It's unfortunate that we got a chance to see it. You know, we had to see it, and I do feel for the people that came afterwards, because it did cause another problem, because those people who came after that had categories where they won awards, it kind of took away from the shine that they should have received by this happening. So we're not going to overlook that either. But it still doesn't merit the punishment, like you said, Paprika, that they were trying to give him.
Yes. And adding to your comment about his reactions or his actions, a Hollywood Reporter article stated that, well, I read it the day after the slap, and it stated that the Academy Board mentioned that they would not stand for anyone to abuse their status, power, or influence. But I don't think that's what's happening here, because both the giver and the recipient of the slap have status, power, and influence as an actor. So how can it be an abuse of those things? So it's unlikely that Will would expect special treatment if they both had the same. You know what I mean? I just think, though he was wrong, his action was simply a man reacting to something that his wife found to be insulting. And that same article, again referencing abuse, stated that the Academy was against any form of abuse. So I have a question. Can't Jada view Rock's joke as emotional abuse, considering the fact that she publicly made it clear how she felt about her alopecia, how it affects her emotionally, you know, and caused her to suffer depression? What do you think about that?
I think that Twine and I was talking about this off the mic, and we were saying how they should stop with these jokes anyway. I mean, if it's going to be a personal joke and an attack on somebody, then maybe they should cut that out altogether with the Academy, because it seems to be now the normal trend amongst comedians are to attack someone personally to make it a joke. Now, my understanding is that there is a proper place for that type of a joke, which is called roasting someone. Then it's acceptable to tell somebody or talk about someone and attack them personally, because it's a roasting. Now here, on the other hand, he should not have done it, because apparently there was some bad blood between these two before the Academy, where last year when they boycotted and Chris made jokes about them not coming to the Academy then. So clearly it was something that Chris Rock probably should have made a better judgment not to do that type of joke. And especially since alopecia is nothing to laugh at. And everybody knows that a woman's crowning glory is her hair. And if you have to lose your hair, it's very painful and it is very emotional. So you would not want someone to call you out on it and make a joke about it. So if the Academy does not allow any forms of abuse, as they said, and I've used that word abuse lightly in light of what Shell said, then they should have reprimanded Chris Rock for making that type of comment towards Jada.
Yes, Rika, that's exactly what we were talking about also, Mike. As a matter of fact, everybody's looking at wrong for them to charge to give Will Smith $20 million for Wild Wild West. You know, so here he is. He's already made statements last year. So you don't know how this can be affecting them now based on that. They could feel like there's some bad blood. There could be some bad blood there from that. You understand what I'm saying? So we don't know how she took that, how she was looking at that based on what happened in the past with him. This is the things that the rest of us don't see or don't know.
Yeah, and regarding alopecia, there were some commenters making light of it, saying that it's not like she has some disease that she's dying from, and that men have alopecia and they deal with it all the time. But to that, I would say each person with alopecia deals with it in their own way. You know, it affects people differently.
Well, they really should not hold that against her, how she feels, and how, right, minimize it, because she feels how she feels.
And I agree with Paprika. We all know that a woman's hair is of much value to her. So naturally, the loss of hair could be very traumatizing to a woman. Yes, I know there are men who would prefer to keep all of their hair as well, but it's definitely different with women. Men, if they choose to dye a bald head, it doesn't affect him. Some women prefer a bald man. But with women, if we're keeping it real, men are not keen on dating or marrying a bald woman.
Yes, why? Hair is a woman's story, huh? Always has been, always will be.
Yeah, so anyway, I just think the whole thing is that they're making this too much. And I also saw a take on it where they were calling with that Chris Rock saved the Academy. Now, first of all, he did not save the Academy because he is the one that started the ball rolling in all of this, had he not made that joke. And then something Twine said, that we don't know the conversation or how Jada felt about the joke. But on the other hand, it clearly shows the type of person Will is. Because, like we said in the beginning, he initially laughed at the joke. So even though there was bad blood between them from last year, Will Smith still just let it go over his head. And that just shows how he is. He's just a cool, go-with-the-flow type guy, and he didn't let it affect him. But it affected and it hit Jada differently.
Yeah, and you mentioned how Chris Rock's joke started the issue. I totally agree. I really think that's something that needs to be looked into because all too often you hear about someone who's at the end of those jokes feeling some type of way. And I just think there should be a line that they can't cross. I mean, what is it? You can't get a laugh from someone unless you're taking a jab at somebody? If that's the case, why don't you tell a joke about yourself? The reason I say this is because you never know what's going on in a person's life. Somebody may be coming to your show to hear your jokes so they can laugh and feel better. But instead they come and you choose to pick on them and say something that triggers the exact feelings that they were trying to forget about. And because of that, when they leave your show, the next thing you know, it might be on the news or somebody may hear news of their loved one that may have committed suicide. And it's all because of a joke that a comedian felt that they had a right to tell. I just don't think it's right. And there should be a line drawn for comedians.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it just speaks to the way Jokes were a comedian who actually has a very good talent to make people laugh without making other people the target or the subject of their jokes. I mean, you should be able to have a talent to make people laugh without attacking another person. So, but I think we